Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, December 10. Thanks for joining us. Pressure is mounting on the Caribbean Examination Council to deliver long overdue reviews of results in this year's CSEC and CAPE exams. Today, the newly formed Caribbean Coalition for CXC 2020 Redress, at a virtual news conference, called for CARICOM leaders to intervene. The group, which includes parents, principals and students, maintained the results have seriously disadvantaged thousands of the region's children since they failed to reflect the students' historical performances and teachers' predicted scores. Paula Ann Moore is calling for action.
12 weeks on, we, the coalition, are of the view that enough of the long talk. We need decisive action, and therefore the coalition, Caribbean Coalition of CXC 2020 Redress, is seeking action and leadership to rectify the situation that has disadvantaged thousands of children throughout the region. So what we are seeking to identify is primarily to get the attention of CXC, get the attention of the CARICOM leadership, and proceed with rapidity for a prompt redress and resolution so that thousands of these children have the justice that they deserve and that their preliminary grades are reviewed. They're reviewed with transparency and they get the grades that they deserve.
Meanwhile, an independent education consultant today called for major redress for the affected students. Dr. Michael Clark, an overseas-based Barbadian educator, today endorsed the findings of the independent review team commissioned by Chairman of the Regional Examining Body, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, to review the process and outcomes of this year's tests. Clark, who was invited to offer an independent assessment, blamed the controversial results on the revised 2020 exam methodology, the removal of Paper 2, and the revised grading methodology.
The independent review team report indicates that the resulting scores based on the change in assessment structure and grading were neither reliable, valid, nor fair, and as such, major redress is required. The most reasonable redress would be to regrade Paper 3 in a manner consistent with the historic grading to recapture what reliability of scores there might be. This will not address all ills, but it is something that is doable. An additional option would be to offer any students who are willing the opportunity to take a Paper 2. If students can demonstrate a deep understanding of the tested construct, it would be unconscionable to allow an error in assessment to derail their academic progression.
In other news, Agriculture Minister Indar Ware is making it clear that the lucrative medical cannabis industry will not mirror the now dying sugarcane sector. He gave the assurance on Wednesday night during a town hall meeting at Queen's College in Husband St. James on the medicinal cannabis industry. The session was organized by the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority in association with the Ministry of Agriculture. Ware insisted that local small farmers will have an opportunity to be part of the sector, while adding that he expects Barbados to attract several major foreign investors.
We're not shipping out anything in bulk for anybody to refine and send back to us. All that will be done here and a finished product will be sent. We made that abundantly clear, so this cannot be a repeat of a sugar industry. We've created a complete value chain so that at any part of that value chain we can enter. And therefore, any conversation that seeks to suggest that this is another repeat of the sugar industry, I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, you're wrong. That is not the case. The industry will get started in January. We will do everything to make sure that we stay on top of the situation.
Marijuana advocate Paul Simbarock, however, expressed concern that locals may be disadvantaged.
We have been saying that cannabis has medicinal properties from in the 1930s. We as Rastafari, I and I, have been left out because you have one of our ancestors on the board means nothing. It means nothing. I and I, we have been left out when I cannot get up on a morning and boil some tea for my preventative medicinal use because you keep it illegal, we have not gone anywhere. That is the first conversation. So before your money talks, I have been around. I'm asking you a question now. This strain, this local strain you're going to develop, where are the seeds coming from? When I attended one of your meetings and symposiums, Canadian said that when they started their industry, they realized that it was illegal farmers, what they call us, legacy farmers, that they got their first strains from there. Will you get your seeds from me? Why leaving me out of the industry?
Minister Ware, however, insisted this would not be the case. He made it clear that Rastafarians will be treated fairly.
We have met with several Rastafari groups, and the government went and passed a bill in Parliament based on what we were told to allow the use of marijuana for sacramental uses. And that bill was passed in Parliament last year. So, I mean, it is a process. Everything is not going to happen one time. And Rasimba and I have spoken on numerous occasions. I've also spoken with ICAR as well. We have agreed that we are going to treat the Rastas fairly, but we are moving in stages. And what we have said is that whilst we are moving, we are going to allow you to use cannabis for sacrament. So if you want to boil a tea with it, when you get possession of it, you can do that. Nobody is stopping you. And that has been completely legalized through the Attorney General's office. So, yes, you can use it for a sacrament.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, the Ghana government defends its decision to release 26 Haitian nationals it had detained for 3 weeks. The government denied that it had rounded up the detainees and left them at a city hotel. Minister of Human and Services and Social Security, Dr. Prasad, says the Haitians were treated fairly by the state.
They have been released, and they have indicated to us where they wanted to be taken. We have facilitated that. They had dinner and everything was put in place to have a comfortable movement from point A to point B of their choice.
Can you also say what role the ministry played in their detention? I know initially
we are more humanitarian, as our name suggests, so it was ensuring that they had shelter, meals, and taking care of the children and women in particular.
On the international scene, the EU chief today published a backup plan to protect road and air travel and fishing rights if Britain leaves the Union without a trade deal. The UK left the European Union on January 31 and at the end of this month will leave the bloc's single market and customs union. More in this report from France 24.
We know that there were large gaps, that's a quote, that remain after these crucial talks, this dinner, 3-hour meeting between the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who flew over to Brussels for this crucial dinner with the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. There is some question mark here about the menu, and without belaboring it, it is wondered if it is either a provocation or a sense of humour that when the two are, amongst other things, at a deadlock over fishing rights and EU access to British waters, particularly since the UK very much wants to be a sovereign state and feels the EU does not understand this, that the starter was scallops and that the main course was steamed turbot. Interesting also to note the language, very diplomatic. From the British side, it said that there had been a frank exchange, which basically means a row. On the EU side, Mrs. von der Leyen said that it had been a lively and interesting discussion. And we now have a new deadline. So many deadlines have been missed before. And that new deadline is Sunday for a firm decision. That is both sides who are now saying this.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.